Jack Miller stood at the tall window that looked out into the dark space beyond. Tiny stars glittered like diamonds against the black. Below him, the curved edge of planet Nexus Prime showed blue and green, much like Earth had once been. He pressed, his hand against the cool glass, and let out a long breath. "They're ready for us now, Ambassador," said Susan Reyes from the doorway. Her uniform was neat and clean, the silver and blue of Earth's space fleet catching the light as she moved. Jack nodded but didn't turn around right away. 300 years, he said quietly. 300 years we've tried to be good neighbors. Susan didn't answer. She didn't need to. They both knew what today meant. Jack finally turned and walked across the room. His black suit was simple, but well made. The small pin on his chest, Earth with its single moon, was his only mark of office. Together they walked down the long hall toward the council chamber. Beings from other worlds moved aside as they passed. Some nodded in respect. Others looked away. News traveled fast on Nexus Prime. The great doors of the council chamber slid open. Inside, the room curved in a wide circle. 17 tall chairs sat in a half-moon shape. Each chair held a different being from a different world. In the center of the room was a single small platform where speakers could stand. High Arbiter, Zorix, sat in the middle chair. His body was long and thin, almost like a praying mantis from Earth, but with clear skin that showed the organs inside. His 6 arms moved in the air as he spoke with the others. "Ambassador Miller," Zorix said as Jack entered. His voice came through Jack's translator earpiece in perfect English. "Please take your place. We will now vote on Earth's petition regarding the Proxima conflict." Jack stepped onto the small platform in the center of the room. Susan stood back near the wall with the other military people. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Concordat," Jack began, his voice steady. "For the 7th time, Earth asks for your help. The people of Proxima Centauri are dying. The attacks grow worse each day. We have ships. We have soldiers. We can stop this conflict before more innocent lives are lost." Around the room, the members of the council shifted in their seats. Some looked bored. They had heard this before. "We understand your concern, Ambassador," said Grail of the Phaloxy, a being with red scales and 4 eyes. "But our rules are clear. The Proxima conflict is a local matter. It does not threaten Concordat space. We cannot act." Jack felt his heart beat faster. His hands curled into fists at his sides, but he kept his face calm. "Local matter?" he repeated. 2 million dead is a local matter? Ships that appear from nowhere, attack and vanish, this is a local matter. Our science team believes these attacks come from outside our galaxy. This is not a local matter. This is a new threat to all of us. "Your science team has been wrong before," said another council member, this one like a large jellyfish floating in a special tank. "We need more proof before we break our own rules." Jack looked at each member of the council in turn. Some wouldn't meet his eyes. He knew then that the vote was already decided. "Very well," he said. "Let us vote." The vote was quick. Each member touched a button on their chair. A large screen on the wall showed the results. 15 against, 1 for, 1 abstain. Jack's shoulders dropped just a little. He had known this would happen, but still the pain of it hit him hard. "The council has spoken," said Zorix, his clear arms waving in the air. "Earth's petition to send ships to the Proxima conflict is denied. Again. The situation in the Proxima sector is sad but does not need our help under Rule 43. The room was quiet. All eyes were on Jack. They expected him to argue, to plead, as he had done 6 times before. Instead, Jack stood up straight. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small data chip. "I have one more thing to say," he said. His voice was not loud, but it filled the room. 300 years ago, Earth joined the Concordat. We were new to space travel then. We needed friends. We needed help. You welcomed us, and we have tried to be good members of this group. We have followed your rules. We have given our help when asked." Jack held up the data chip. "But now, when we ask for help, you turn away. 7 times. We have brought proof. 7 times you have said no. So now, as the voice of Earth and all human colonies, I give you this. Our formal letter saying we are leaving the Galactic Concordat starting right now. The room burst into noise. Council members shouted. Some stood up. Zorix banged his hand on the table for quiet. This is not allowed, he said. No species has ever left the Concordat. The rules do not permit it. Jack smiled, but the smile did not reach his eyes. Check your own laws, Arbiter. Section 12, Paragraph 9. Any member may leave with proper notice. This is our notice. He placed the data chip on a small table near the platform. Earth is leaving the Concordat. We will protect our own people since you refuse to help. Our ships are already on their way back to our space. Our trading posts are closing. By tomorrow, no human will remain in Concordat territory. This is madness, said Grell. You cannot survive alone in this galaxy. Jack turned to look at him. Perhaps. But we will try. We tried your way for 300 years. Now we will try ours. With that, Jack stepped down from the platform. Susan joined him and they walked toward the door. Behind them, the council erupted in argument. In a dark corner of the room, a small being named Clevax watched. Unlike the others, he could feel emotions. What he felt from the humans made him shake with fear. This was not an angry choice, this was cold and planned. The humans had expected this vote. They were ready for it. As the door closed behind Jack and Susan, Clevax sank deeper into his corner. He alone understood what had just happened. The Concordat had made an enemy of the most dangerous species in the galaxy, and no one else even knew it yet. 5 years passed. The galaxy waited. Nothing happened. Well, not nothing. Humans disappeared. One day they were everywhere, running shops on space stations, working as doctors on alien worlds, flying cargo ships between stars. The next day, they were gone. At first, the Concordat leaders thought it was a trick. They sent messages to Earth. No one answered. They sent ships to the edge of human space. The ships came back with strange stories. They had seen large energy fields that stopped them from going further. Beyond those fields, their sensors could see nothing. Alan West looked at the big screen in front of him. It showed hundreds of small dots moving through space. Each dot was a ship. Most were far from human space. They still think we're just hiding, he said. Lisa Dawson nodded. 5 years ago, she had been a teacher on a human colony world. Now she worked with Alan in this underground base on Mars. Her job was to watch the aliens who watched humans. The Concordat ships come less often now, she said. Last month, only 2 ships checked our border. Alan smiled. This was good news. They're losing interest in us, he said, just as we hoped. The room they stood in was deep under the red dirt of Mars. It was one of 50 such rooms across human space. Once these places had been simple mines, digging for metals in the ground. Now they were the heart of the largest building project in human history. How is Project Prometheus going? Alan asked. Good, Lisa said. She touched a button and the screen changed. Now it showed a huge ship being built in space. The first fleet will be ready in 2 months. The new engines work perfectly. The ships can move without making any light or heat that the aliens could see. And the weapons? Lisa touched another button. The screen showed a test firing of a new kind of gun. It shot not bullets or beams, but waves of force that moved through space itself. We tested them on the dark side of Neptune last week, she said. They work better than we hoped. Alan nodded. And our people on Epsilon Eridani? All gone now. The planet is empty and ready. Epsilon Eridani was a star system with a small planet where a few thousand humans had lived. Now they were gone, moved to safer places. The empty planet would be used for a test, a big test. Outside their office, the sounds of machines and people working filled the air. This base had 10,000 workers now. They built ships, made weapons, and trained soldiers, all in secret. All hidden from the rest of the galaxy. Alan walked to another screen. This one showed a planet around a distant star. Any news from Proxima? He asked. Lisa's face grew sad. Not good news. The alien attacks are worse now. The Concordat still. Does nothing. Our spies say the Concordat thinks it's just pirates or raiders. Alan shook his head. Fools. Those aren't raiders. That's an invasion force. When humans had left the Concordat, they had also left Proxima Centauri. It was the closest star to Earth's sun, with 2 small colony worlds. The people there had come back to safer systems, but human spy ships still watched what happened in Proxima space. And what they saw was troubling. The strange ships that had been attacking the worlds there were getting bolder. At first, they had hit small targets, then run away. Now they stayed longer. They took over small moons. They built bases. And now Alan knew where they came from. The deep space telescopes found their home, he said, pointing to a picture of strange, swirling energy far beyond the edge of the galaxy. They aren't from our galaxy at all. Lisa moved closer to look. Do we know what they want? Same thing. All invaders want, Alan said. New lands, new resources, new slaves. A young man in a neat uniform came into the room. He handed a small computer pad to Alan. Sir, President Harris wants to speak with you, he said. Alan nodded. He took the pad and touched the screen. The face of a woman appeared. President Mary Harris, leader of all human worlds. Alan, she said, I've just seen the report from Proxima. The Concordat is sending a small force there to look into the problem. Too little, too late. Alan wasn't surprised. They still don't understand what they're facing. No, the president agreed. But we might. Your team has done good work. The spy ship reports match what our deep space probes found. These aliens, the sectai as they call themselves, have done this before. They find a galaxy, start small, then spread like a disease. Alan felt cold inside. How many worlds have they taken before? We don't know for sure. But the energy pattern from their home matches signs we've found around 3 dead galaxies. Galaxies with no life left. Alan looked at Lisa, whose face had gone pale. What do you want us to do? He asked the president. Keep watching. Keep building. We're almost ready. And the Concordat? Lisa asked. President Harris's face showed no emotion. Let them find out the hard way what their choice has cost them. We warned them. After the call ended, Alan and Lisa stood in silence for a long moment. You know what this means, Lisa finally said. The sectai won't stop with Proxima. Once they're done there, they'll keep going. They'll hit Concordat worlds next. Millions will die. Yes, Alan said. And then the Concordat will finally understand the danger. But by then it will be too late for them. And for us? Lisa asked. Alan looked again at the screen showing the massive ship under construction. Not for us, he said quietly. Humanity. We'll be ready. On the other side of the galaxy, a Concordat patrol ship moved slowly through the darkness near Proxima Centauri. The captain, a being with blue skin and 4 arms, was bored. This was a waste of time. Pirates, that's all these attacks were. Nothing that needed a full Concordat response. The ship's alarm suddenly screamed. On the screen, 3 strange vessels appeared from nowhere. They weren't like any ships the captain had seen before. They looked almost alive, with parts that moved, like muscles and skin. Send a message to Nexus Prime, the captain said to his crew. Tell them. He never finished the sentence. A beam of green light hit the ship, cutting it in half. In the darkness of space, the strange ships moved toward the inner planets of Proxima Centauri. Behind them, hundreds more emerged from the blackness between stars. The invasion had begun. The Proxima system burned. 3 months had passed since the first big attack, and now 2 planets were lost. The strange ships, the sectai ships, were everywhere. The Concordat had finally sent a real fleet to fight. Too late. Much too late. Donna. Clark stood on the bridge of her ship, the Vigilant. The ship was special. It could not be seen by normal scanners. It gave off no heat, no light, no signal of any kind. The Vigilant was a ghost, watching but not seen. Record everything, Donna told her crew. Every move they make, every weapon they use. Paul Wright, her second-in-command, looked out at the battle. The Concordate ships were big and strong with good weapons, but the Secti ships were better. Much better. We could help them, Paul said. Our weapons work against the Secti. We could save many lives. Donna shook her head. Her face was hard. Those are not our orders. We watch. We record. We do not fight. Paul wanted to argue, but he knew it was useless. Donna was right. They had orders from Earth. No human ship was to fight yet. They were only to watch and learn. On the main screen, they saw a Concordate ship break in half. The crew would die quickly, in the cold of space. Paul looked away. The Secti ships can fix themselves, said a young woman at a computer. Look. She pointed to a screen. It showed a Secti ship that had been hit badly. But even as they watched, the damage seemed to heal. Like a cut on skin, the metal grew back together. How is that possible? Paul asked. They're not fully machines, Donna said. They're part living, part machine, something we've never seen before. Another Concordate ship died on the screen. Then another. It was not a battle anymore. It was just killing. Send all this back to Earth, Donna ordered. Use the quantum link. The quantum link was a new human technology. It sent messages instantly, with no delay, through a weird part of space where normal rules didn't work. The Concordate didn't have this technology. Neither did the Secti as far as humans knew. Message sent, said a crew member. Good, Donna said. Now we wait for new orders. The Vigilant moved back, staying hidden in the shadow of a moon. Below them, the last Concordate ships tried to run. None would escape. On Earth, in a big room deep under the old city of Washington, President Mary Harris watched the battle too. The quantum link showed her everything the Vigilant saw. The Concordate fleet is lost, said General Richard Powell, who stood next to her. They never had a chance. Mary nodded. Her face was sad but calm. How many ships did the Concordate send? 42, Richard said. Their biggest fleet in 50 years. And how many Secti ships are there? At least 200, and more coming. Mary turned to look at a map on the wall. It showed the whole galaxy, with little lights for each star system. Red lights showed where the Secti had already taken over. Yellow showed where they were, attacking now. Green showed systems still safe. There were more red lights every day. And now, after today, there would be more. How long until they reach the core Concordate worlds? Mary asked. Richard thought for a moment. 3 months, maybe 4. And human space? 6 months after that, if they keep going at this speed. Mary walked to a window. It was not a real window. They were underground, but a screen that showed the city above. People walked on the streets, went to work, lived their lives. They did not know what was coming. Are we ready? She asked. Richard stood up straighter. The Aegis array is complete. 30 rings, built in key places across human space. The new fleets are ready too, and the special weapons for our ground troops. Will it be enough? Richard didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was quiet. I don't know, Madam President. The Secti are strong, but we've had 5 years to prepare. The Concordate had none. Mary turned back to the screen showing the battle. The last Concordate ship was now just broken pieces floating in space. Send the order, she said. Begin Operation Reckoning. Richard nodded and left the room. Mary stayed, watching the screen. The Secti ships were moving toward the inner planets now. In the Proxima system, Donna got new orders from Earth. She read them and then told her crew, we're leaving. Set course for the Jupiter base at full speed. The Vigilant turned and moved, away from the battle. No one saw it go. 3 weeks later, the Galactic Concordate Council met in an emergency session. The room was not calm and quiet now. Leaders shouted at each other. Some cried. Fear filled the air like a bad smell. 3 systems lost, shouted Grell, the red-scaled Philoxy. Billions dead or running. We must do something more. High Arbiter. Zorix looked old now. his clear skin showing organs that seemed tired and slow. "We have sent our best ships," he said. "They were not enough." "Then we need better ships," another council member shouted. "Better weapons." "From where?" asked Zorix. "We have used all we have. Our best scientists are working day and night, but they cannot make new weapons fast enough." The room got quiet. Everyone knew what he was saying. The Concordat, which had stood for thousands of years, was going to fall. "What about the humans?" a small voice asked. Everyone turned. It was Klovax the empath who had spoken. He rarely talked at these meetings. "The humans?" Zorix asked. "They left us. They hide behind their energy walls. They do nothing." "Perhaps they would help," Klovax said. "If we asked, if we admitted we were wrong." Some council members laughed. Others looked angry. "We don't need them," said one. "What can they do that we cannot?" "I don't know," said Klovax. "But they warned us about this threat. Many times. Maybe they know something we don't." Zorix was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "It can't hurt to ask. We will send a group to the edge of human space. Today, as..." The council members left. Klovax stayed in his seat. He was afraid. So afraid. Because he had felt something when they talked about the humans. A cold feeling in the room. A sense that it was already too late. That the humans had their own plans. Now, the Concordat ship moved slowly toward the edge of human space. On board were 5 top members of the Galactic Council, including High Arbiter Zorix himself. They came to beg for help. For days, their ship had sent messages ahead. No one answered. "This is useless," said Grell, the red-scaled Philoxy. "The humans won't even talk to us. We should go back." "We cannot go back," Zorix said. His voice was tired. 3 more systems have fallen since we left. The Shektai move faster each day. A small blue light began to flash on the control panel. A message was coming in. "Human ship detected," said the pilot. "They're hailing us." On the main screen, a woman's face appeared. She wore a simple gray uniform with a small pin that showed Earth. Her eyes were cold. "This is Admiral Nancy Foster of the Earth Navy," she said. "State your business." Zorix moved forward to speak. "High Arbiter Zorix of the Galactic Concordat. We come seeking an audience with your leaders. The galaxy faces a threat that we know about the Shektai." Nancy cut in. Her voice was flat. "We've been watching them for years." The council members looked at each other in surprise. "Then you understand the danger," Zorix said. "The Concordat formally requests humanity's help in this crisis." Nancy was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Follow my ship. Any deviation from our path will be taken as an act of aggression." The screen went black. Outside the front window, a ship appeared where there had been nothing before. It was sleek and gray, with no lights or markings. "How did they do that?" whispered one of the council members. "Our sensors showed nothing." No one had an answer. The human ship led them through the energy field that marked the edge of human space. What they saw inside made them all fall silent. Everywhere, ships moved in perfect patterns. Not small ships, but huge ones. Warships. Thousands of them. Some were so big they looked like small moons. Between planets, giant ring-shaped structures floated in space. They glowed with blue energy. "What are those?" asked Grell, pointing to the rings. "I don't know," said Zorix. "But the humans have been busy these past 5 years. Their ship was guided to a large station orbiting Jupiter. After they docked, Admiral Nancy Foster met them in person. "This way," she said, not bothering with greetings. She led them through clean, well-lit halls to an observation room. One wall was clear glass, showing the curve of Jupiter below. "Wait here," Nancy said, and left them alone. Klovax, who had insisted on being part of this group, moved close to the window. Below them, one of the giant rings orbited the planet. Up close, it was even bigger than it had looked from space. Ships moved around it like small bugs next to a house. "What is that thing?" he asked no one in particular. The door opened. A man in a white coat came in, followed by Nancy. I'm Dr. Greg Howard, the man said. I designed the Aegis array. He pointed to the ring below them. The what? Asked Zorix. The Aegis array, Greg repeated. That's what we call it. It's one of 30 we've built. On screens around the room, images appeared of other rings, all in different parts of human space. I don't understand, said Grell. What do they do? Greg smiled, but his eyes were not happy. They stopped the Shektai. He touched a screen and a new image appeared. It showed a Shektai ship, one of the ones that fixed itself when damaged. Do you know what makes their ship special? Greg asked. Why your weapons don't work well, why they can repair damage so quickly. The council members shook their heads. They're part machine, part living tissue, Greg explained. A blend of metal and flesh grown together. That's why they heal. That's why they adapt so quickly to new threats. How do you know this? Zorix asked. Because we've been studying them for years, Nancy said. While you ignored the threat, we prepared. She touched another screen. It showed human ships, hidden, just like the Vigilant watching Zektai attacks. We saw what happened at Proxima, she said. And before that, the small raids that you dismissed as pirates. We knew what was coming. You knew and did nothing? Grell's voice rose in anger. Billions have died. Nancy's face hardened. We tried to warn you. 7 times we came to the council. 7 times you voted against us. No one had an answer to that. The Aegis array is built to target the biological parts of Shektai technology, Greg said, changing the subject. It sends out a wave that destroys living tissue connected to their tech. Their ships simply fall apart. If this works, Zorix said slowly, why haven't you used it? Why let so many worlds fall? Range, Greg said simply. And we needed to see more of their technology to make sure our solution would work on all of it. A new person entered the room. A woman with short gray hair and a simple blue suit. The humans in the room stood straighter. President Harris, Nancy said. The Concordat delegation is here as you ordered. Mary Harris looked at each alien face before speaking. I understand you've come to ask for our help, she said. Yes, said Zorix. His pride was gone now. The Concordat admits we were wrong. We should have listened to your warnings. We should have acted sooner. Now we ask for your help before it's too late. Mary walked to the window and looked down at the giant ring. It may already be too late for many, she said, but perhaps not for all. She turned back to face them. Humanity will fight the Shektai, but not for the Concordat. We fight for ourselves and for the innocent people caught in this war. Thank you, Zorix said, bowing his head. Don't thank me yet, Mary said. There are conditions. When this is over, the Concordat will not continue as it was. There will be changes. What changes? Asked Grell. We'll discuss that after the Zektai are defeated, Mary said. Her tone made it clear the subject was closed for now. She nodded to Greg, who touched his screen again. Below them, the giant ring began to glow brighter. What you're about to see, Mary told the aliens, is humanity's answer to the Shektai and to the galaxy. The ring pulsed once, twice. Then a wave of blue light shot out from it. The wave was not like anything the council members had seen before. It didn't move like light, or energy should move. It bent around planets. It flowed like water in space where no water could be. What is happening? Klovax asked, his voice shaking. Watch, was all Mary said. On the screens around the room, images showed the wave reaching Shektai ships. Where it touched them, the ships seemed to simply come apart, not exploding, not burning, just falling into pieces. By the first stars, whispered Zorix. How is this possible? Human science, Greg said with a small smile. We've been busy. More screens showed the wave continuing outward, reaching 3 systems, 4, 5, each time with the same result. Shektai ships and bases fell apart wherever the wave touched them. The wave will continue until it has covered most of the galaxy, Mary explained. It only affects Shektai biotech. Nothing else will be harmed. The council members watched in stunned silence as the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known was simply erased. And in that moment, as they realized the true power humanity now held, a cold fear touched each of their hearts. Their doom had been sealed the moment humanity turned away. 2 weeks after the Aegis array fired, the galaxy was different. The secti threat was gone. Their ships drifted in space, broken into pieces. Their bases stood empty. The wave had worked just as Greg Howard had said it would. But even as people on many worlds celebrated, new fears grew. Because now everyone knew what humans could do. In the grand meeting hall on Earth, leaders from across the galaxy gathered. The room was huge, with tall windows that showed the blue sky outside. At the front, on a raised platform, sat President Mary Harris with her advisors. Before her, in rows of seats, sat the members of the Galactic Concordat and leaders from many other worlds. They had all come to hear what would happen next. Mary stood and walked to the front of the platform. The room grew quiet. "The threat is gone," she said simply. "The secti have been defeated." A cheer went up from the crowd. Mary waited for it to die down before she continued. "But we must ask why this threat grew so large before it was stopped. Why warnings were ignored. Why so many had to die." Now the room was very quiet. Many of the aliens looked down at their hands or feet. "The Concordat failed," Mary said. "A system that stood for thousands of years could not protect its own people when a real danger came." High Arbiter Zorix rose from his seat. He looked old and tired, but he still had some pride. "The Concordat admits its failure," he said. His voice was thin but clear. "We were blind to the danger. We were slow to act. We put old rules ahead of people's lives." Mary nodded. "And now you understand why humanity left. Why we had to find our own path." "Yes," Zorix said. "We understand." Mary walked to a large screen on the wall. It showed a map of the galaxy. Many areas were marked in red, places where the secti had caused damage. Some were empty now, the people all dead or gone. "The old way is over," Mary said. "Today, we begin the new way, what we call the Pax Humana, the human peace." She touched the screen. Now the map showed blue lines connecting different star systems. "These are the new trade routes," she explained. "Protected by human ships, free for all peaceful traffic." She touched the screen again. Green dots appeared across the galaxy. "These are defense stations we will build. Like the Aegis array, but smaller. They will watch for new threats and protect nearby worlds." A tall alien with 4 arms stood up. "Who will control these stations?" he asked. "Who will control the trade routes?" Mary looked at him calmly. "Humanity will, for now." Voices rose in the crowd, some angry, some afraid. Mary let them talk for a minute, then raised her hand. The room got quiet again. "We do not want to rule the galaxy," she said. "We want to protect it. For too long, the Concordat was more talk than action, more rules than help. That time is over." She walked back to the center of the platform. "Any world that wishes to join the Pax Humana may do so. You will keep your own leaders, your own laws, but you will follow some basic rules, help others when they need it, share knowledge that could save lives, prepare for dangers, not ignore them." "And if we refuse?" asked Grell of the Phloxy, his red scales bright under the lights. "Then you stand alone," Mary said, "as we once did." Greg Howard stepped forward with a small device in his hand. He pressed a button, and a new image appeared on the screen. It showed human ships, thousands of them, moving into positions across the galaxy. "These ships are already in place," Greg said. "They are there to help, not to threaten, but they will stay." The room was very quiet now. Everyone understood what this meant. Humanity now had the power to enforce its will. The choice being offered wasn't really a choice at all. Kalvax, the small empath, closed his eyes. He could feel the emotions in the room. Fear, anger, relief, hope, all mixed together. But from the humans, he felt something different. Not pride. Not anger, just purpose. They were doing what they thought must be done. One by one, leaders stood to speak. Some agreed quickly to join the Pax Humana. Others asked questions, wanted details. A few protested, said they would never bow to human control. Mary listened to them all. When everyone had spoken, she raised her hand again. "We understand your concerns," she said. "This is a big change, but remember, we did not want this role. We tried to work with the Concordat, we tried to warn you. In the end, we had to save ourselves. And in doing so, we saved you too." She walked down from the platform to stand on the same level as the other leaders. 5 years ago, we turned away from a galaxy that would not listen. We built our strength in secret. We prepared for the worst. And when the worst came, we were ready. Mary looked around the room, meeting the eyes of alien leaders one by one. "Now we offer our hand in friendship. Not as members of your Concordat, but as the foundation of something new, something better. Will you join us?" Slowly, High Arbiter Zorix walked forward. He stood before Mary, his clear body showing his old, tired organs working hard. "The Concordat is ended," he said. His voice was sad but firm. "We joined the Pax Humana." Others came forward then, some quickly, some slowly. By the end of the day, most had agreed to the new way. As the sun set outside the tall windows, Mary stood with Alan West and watched the alien leaders talking together in small groups. "Will it work?" Alan asked quietly. "This peace you've made?" Mary smiled a little. "It's not peace yet, just the start of a road that might lead there. And those who refuse to join, they'll come around," Mary said. "Or they won't. Either way, humanity will never be ignored again." Outside, the blue sky turned to purple, then to black. Stars appeared. Thousands of tiny lights in the darkness. Somewhere out there, human ships moved between them, watching, protecting. The galaxy had realized its doom the moment humanity turned away. But perhaps in that doom, it had also found its salvation.